There are two versions of you, the one you show the world, and the one that looks back at you when you are alone. Sometimes they're very close. Sometimes they feel like strangers. On the outside, you say, I am fine. It is all good. I am chill. On the inside, there is a storm. Old pain, resentment, fear, envy, regret, dreams you do not admit, limits you pretend you do not have. Today, I want to talk about something uncomfortable, but powerful. Facing yourself honestly. Not to judge yourself, not to destroy your self-esteem, but to finally stop running from the person you actually are. Because you cannot truly change what you refuse to see. By the way, if you enjoy using English not just to speak, but to understand yourself more deeply and build a stronger mind, you can subscribe and keep these reflections close to your routine. Let us begin. First, why is it so hard to face ourselves honestly? Because honesty hurts our illusions. We like to believe certain stories about who we are. I am a good person. I am reasonable. I am strong. I am a victim. I am helpless. I do not care. These stories are not always wrong, but they are incomplete. To protect these stories, we ignore some facts. The moments when we were selfish, the times we hurt someone, the habits that sabotage our health, the opportunities we did not take, the fears that control our choices. We prefer to say, it is because of them. It is because of life. It is just my personality. Instead of saying, this part is on me. Facing yourself honestly is scary because it threatens your identity. If I admit that I have been lying to myself, what does that say about me? If I admit that I wasted years, how do I live with that? So we do something very human. We distract ourselves with work, with relationships, with scrolling, with noise, anything to avoid being too quiet with ourselves. But here is the problem. What you avoid in silence controls you in movement. The parts of you that you do not want to look at still influence your decisions, your relationships, your health. You are not avoiding them. You are only avoiding seeing them. So what does it mean to face yourself honestly in a healthy way? It is not about attacking yourself. It is about seeing your patterns without excuses, admitting both your light and your shadow, taking responsibility for your part in your own suffering, and also recognizing your strength and progress. Honesty without compassion becomes cruelty. Compassion without honesty becomes fantasy. We need both. Let us look at some areas where honest self-reflection is especially important. First area, your emotions. Sometimes you tell yourself, I am not angry. I do not care. It is fine. But your body tells another story. Tension, insomnia, stomach pain, irritation with small things. Facing yourself honestly might mean admitting, I am still angry about what happened. I am jealous of this person. I am hurt. Many people think that if they admit these feelings, they become weak or negative. Actually, the opposite is true. Unadmitted feelings grow in the dark. When you name them, they lose some of their power. You can say, I am angry, and that is okay. I will decide what to do with this anger. Instead of, I am not angry, while the anger leaks into your behavior. Second area, your responsibility. In every difficult situation, there are things outside your control, other people's choices, the economy, your past. It is easy to stay there. It is not my fault. Life is unfair. Other people ruined this. Sometimes this is true. But if you only stay in that place, you give away your power. Facing yourself honestly means asking, in this situation, what is my part? Maybe your part is, you ignored red flags. You stayed where you knew you should leave. You did not set boundaries. You did not ask for help. You kept repeating a pattern. This is painful to admit, but it also opens a door. Because if you have a part, you have power. You can change behavior. You can choose differently next time. You can protect yourself better. Blame feels good for a moment. Responsibility changes your life. Third area, your habits. You probably know some of your habits are hurting you. The food you eat, the sleep you do not get, the hours you lose scrolling, the promises you keep breaking to yourself. Facing yourself honestly means you stop saying, I do not have time, when the truth is, I am not prioritizing this. You stop saying, I cannot, when the truth is, I am choosing not to because it is uncomfortable. This does not mean you attack yourself. It means you use accurate language. I am choosing to watch another episode instead of sleeping is more honest than I just cannot sleep earlier. I am spending my money on things that give me short-term pleasure is more honest than I am poor forever. Honest words create a chance for honest change. Fourth area, your desires. Sometimes you pretend you do not want something because wanting it hurts. You say, I do not care about relationships, when really, you are scared of being rejected again. You say, I do not care about money, when really you are scared of failing or being judged for wanting more. You say, I am okay with my life, when really you dream of something bigger, but you do not feel worthy or capable. Facing yourself honestly means you allow your deeper desires to be seen, at least by you. You do not need to tell the whole world, but you need to stop lying to yourself about what you want. It is better to say, I want this, and I am scared, than I do not want it, when you actually do. Fifth area, your limits. You also have limits, and sometimes you ignore them. You pretend you can do everything, work, help everyone, always be available, never rest. You call it strength. Sometimes it is self-abandonment. Facing yourself honestly means admitting, I am tired. I need help. I cannot carry all of this alone. I am not okay. Many people think that saying this is weakness, but this is maturity. When you respect your limits, you can build a life that does not constantly break you. Now, how can you actually practice facing yourself honestly without falling into self-hate? Let us make this practical. Step 1. Create a safe space with yourself. Honesty needs safety. If every time you tell yourself the truth, you immediately attack yourself, you will stop being honest. So decide. When I talk to myself, I will be direct, but I will not be cruel. Imagine you are talking to a friend you love. You would not lie to them, but you also would not insult them. Bring that tone to yourself. Step 2. Use paper as a mirror. It is difficult to be honest only in your head. Thoughts run away. Take a notebook and ask yourself one question at a time. For example, what am I avoiding admitting to myself right now? Write without editing. Maybe you write, I am not happy in this relationship. I am scared of changing careers. I feel behind everyone. I am jealous of my friend's success. I feel like I am wasting my potential. Let it come out. You do not have to show this to anyone. The goal is to see your inner reality on the page. Step 3. Separate description from judgment. There is a big difference between "I spend 3 hours a day scrolling" and "I am useless." One is description. The other is attack. When you describe, you give information. When you judge, you paralyze yourself. So after you write honestly, check your sentences. If you see, "I am disgusting," "I am trash," "I am a failure," see if you can rewrite them into descriptions. "I have gained weight and I am not taking care of my body." "I made mistakes in this relationship that hurt the other person." "I did not use my time well this year." Description hurts, but it also shows where you can move. Judgment only creates shame, which often leads to more self-destruction. Step 4. Ask the 2 questions. For any truth you discover, ask, what part of this is my responsibility? What is outside my control? For example, I grew up in a difficult environment. That is not my responsibility. But how I respond now and what help I seek is my responsibility. Or, my partner lied to me. Their choice is not my responsibility. But staying or leaving, setting boundaries, healing, that part is mine. This balance protects you from 2 extremes: blaming yourself for everything, or taking responsibility for nothing. Step 5. Turn honesty into small actions, not huge dramas. The risk of facing yourself honestly is that you may feel, "I need to change my whole life immediately." That is impossible and it creates panic. Instead, for each honest realization, ask, what is one small action I can take in the next week that respects this truth? If the truth is, "I am exhausted," a small action might be, go to bed 30 minutes earlier 3 nights this week. If the truth is, "I am jealous," a small action might be, use this feeling as a signal of what I want and take 1 step towards it. If the truth is, "I am not happy with my job," a small action might be, research 1 possible new path, or update my resume, or talk to 1 person in another field. Honesty is step 1. Gentle action is step 2. Step 6. Practice regular check-ins. Facing yourself honestly is not something you do one dramatic night. It is a habit. Once a week, you can ask yourself, what went well in my behavior this week? Where did I abandon myself? What am I proud of? What needs my attention? Write 1 or 2 sentences. No novels needed. This keeps you in contact with yourself. You become less surprised when a crisis appears because you were already listening. Now, there is another kind of honesty we rarely talk about. Honesty about your strengths. Some people are very good at seeing everything that is wrong with them, but blind to what is right. Facing yourself honestly also means admitting, I am kind. I am resilient. I am creative. I have learned a lot. I handled that situation well. I am growing. You might feel arrogant if you say this, but arrogance says, I am better than everyone. Honest confidence says, I have value just like others. You need both sides. Without honest recognition of your strengths, you will always feel broken, no matter how much you improve. To close, remember this. Facing yourself honestly is not an attack on who you are. It is a sign of respect. You respect yourself enough to stop living on automatic pilot. You respect yourself enough to stop hiding behind excuses. You respect yourself enough to look at your life and say, this is where I am. This is what I feel. This is what I have done. This is what I want. This is what I cannot continue doing. From that position, real change is possible. You do not need to fix everything today. You only need to stop lying to yourself about what is real, inside and outside. One honest sentence in your journal. One moment of admitting, I am not okay, to yourself. One decision that matches your truth, not your fear. Little by little, the person you show the world and the person you are alone start to become the same person. Not perfect, not without contradictions, but real. And living as a real person who can face themselves honestly is one of the deepest kinds of freedom you can ever experience. See you in the next video,